welcome to the first ever Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. I'm Chris Farley, and this is my co-host, Phil Hargis. Thanks for joining me, Phil.
Hey Chris, this is really exciting, man. Some new things going on there at Run Washington TV.
Yeah, we got a new website that's going to be launching probably, these things get pushed back, but January or so. And one of the big things we're going to do is some interactive stuff on the web, and we're going to do a show called Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. And you and I will host, hopefully every other week or every month, a 5-minute segment about what's going on locally and running in Washington, D.C.
All right, what's coming up?
So, well, today we're very excited. We've got Mike Spindler here. He is the race director of the JFK 50 miler. Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
Well, we just want to quickly go over a little bit about the race. I know, Phil, you're running it. I'm excited to see how you do. And I wanted to talk to the runners who are mostly the first-time runners out there, what to expect. When's the race? And, talk a little bit about the route and maybe the history of the JFK.
Okay. November 17th. 2012 will be the 50th annual JFK 50 mile. The route is entirely in Washington County, Maryland. Mm-hmm. It starts in a little town called Boonesboro, and it goes up to the Appalachian Trail for 15.5 miles. Then it comes down the C&O Canal towpath for just over a marathon, 26.3 miles. And then it goes 8.4 miles of rolling country roads, and it finishes in the little town of Williamsport.
Okay. It's got a unique history, and
sure.
Obviously you just said 50 years. Talk a little about the history.
Well, the history is John F. Kennedy in 1963. He was responsible for trying to get the country back into a better physical condition. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he did was he kind of inspired these 50-mile events that were held all over the United States on military bases around the world, 50-mile John F. Kennedy 50-mile challenges in the spring of 1963. Most of them that were never held again after Kennedy was unfortunately assassinated in Dallas in November of 63. But the one in Washington County was held in 64, 65, 66, and every year since. And this is the 50th annual that it's been held. And it's the only surviving original event.
Well, my buddy here, Phil, is running it, and should I be worried for Phil? Because Phil's only run a marathon. I think a lot of people have only run a marathon leading into the JFK.
Well, the JFK has been traditionally a springboard event. A lot of people will come and do the JFK as their first ultra. Ultras have become very, very popular in the United States. The JFK is the oldest of them. And a lot of marathon runners will come to the JFK and be very, very successful. I think Phil, he described his training to me before the show, and I think he's going to do fine.
Now, let me jump in here. As a first-time runner of the JFK 50 mile, is there any special gear or running shoe that I need?
Well, you're not going to use racing flats like you would maybe in a 10K or up to a marathon or something like that. You're going to use more of a trail running shoe. Montreal, one of our sponsors, makes a great line of them. So it is, more of a training shoe, more of a trail running shoe that you'll use in this event because of the rocks and so forth that you'll come and encounter in the first third of the event on the Appalachian Trail. Besides that, equipment-wise, basically the same gear that you'd wear in a marathon. You'll dress for the weather, obviously, depending if it's a 30-degree day or a 60-degree day.
What are we going to be eating along the way? I know I'm not running it, so I'll probably be eating a pizza. But what is Phil going to be eating? Because it's probably different than just goose and Gatorade like a marathon.
Well, Phil might be eating something close to pizza.
Right.
An ultra marathon, different from marathons, is instead of just the gels, you'll actually eat some real solid food. There'll be sandwiches out there. There'll be pretzels, potato chips, cookies. At the 38 mile aid station, which is famous, the 38 special they call them, they'll actually have some red velvet cake, which you might enjoy at 38 miles. So, yeah, because you can't carry enough calories in your body from the start. You need to eat along the way. You need to put calories into your body to go 50 miles.
And I just hope that I don't get distracted at the aid stations too much, and that I'm able to get in there, get what I need, and get out of there, because I'm going to get to the finish line. What will I get at the finish line?
At the finish line, everybody who beats the 12-hour time limit gets a beautiful Olympic-style gold medal medallion on a red, white, and blue ribbon placed around their neck seconds after they cross the finish line, and it's hard-earned. We have our finish line announcers will constantly repeat a statistic that less than 0.1% of the U.S. population has ever finished a 50-mile foot race. So it really puts you into a very elite group of people.
And let me ask Chris a question. How am I going to feel at the end of 50 miles?
Oh, man. Well, I didn't do quite as well as Mike's a two-time winner. So, he's won in 82 and 83. So listen to him more than you listen to me.
Well, I'm sure he feels fine.
You know what? It was one of the hardest races I've ever done, but the sense of accomplishment was absolutely amazing, and you'll feel the same for sure. So thank you to Mike Spindler for joining us. And if you want more information on the JFK 50 Miler, it's jfk50miler.org. For Phil Hargis, I am Chris Farley for Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. We'll see you in a couple weeks, guys. Thanks.